So with the release of 12.4, BSG has added 2 new grenades, the VOG 17 and the VOG 25, that bring us to a total of 5 fragmentation grenades. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between them, the stats, the price, and we're also going to be diving into throwable skill and also the best way to level strength in 12.4. So the first thing we're looking at is price. The M67 is the cheapest, coming in at $83 US, which is around 9,794 rubles. Now this is prone to fluctuate because the US dollar goes up and down. However, it's the cheapest option when you can buy it from Peacekeeper yourself from doing Spar to a Part 2. The second one we're looking at is the RGD, coming in at 10,333 rubles. And we got F1 grenade, which is 15,000 rubles. Now the first one's going to be the VOG 17, which is at the moment a little bit inflated because it's new, at 15,500 rubles. And once again, the VOG 25, which I think is the most OP grenade in the game right now, roughly estimated about 21,000 rubles. Now the reason that the VOG is so expensive currently is because the only way to access this grenade and get your hands on it is in the workbench. The first thing you're going to need is 5 40mm VOG 25 grenades. The second one you're going to need is 5 UZGRM grenade fuses, and then it takes an hour and 6 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and do that trade, and once you hand them over, you're going to get 8. Next thing we're looking at is grenade damage. Now grenade damage can be worked out by timesing the grenade fragmentation damage by the amount of fragments it has. And I've actually listed the lowest amount of damage to the highest amount of damage. So the lowest being the VOG 25 and the highest being the F1 grenade. And I want you guys to understand a few interesting things about why this is important to you. Now, first one is the newest grenade here, the VOG 25. Now, it may have the lowest amount of delay at 2 seconds, but the interesting part is it has a maximum damage per fragment of 60. Now, the reason that this matters is because if you are within a 3 to 9 meter radius of this grenade, and one of the fragments was to hit you in the thorax, it wouldn't actually one-hit your thorax, because your thorax comes in at a whopping 80 flesh. So if you are to get hit with one of these, you may actually survive. Now we're going to have a look at the second grenade here, and the VOG 17. And once again, it's the same principle. If you were to hit in the thorax, obviously if one of these hit you in the head, you're going to die. But the maximum damage you can do per fragment is 70. So if you're near the outer radius of the explosion radius, just outside the 6 meter radius of this grenade, and one of the fragments was to hit you in the thorax, it's not going to kill you. So you're going to have a look here on the F1 grenade. But the first one is obviously going to be the maximum damage per fragment. And you can see that the M67 has 115, which is important, especially if fragments are hitting the arms or legs. It's going to apply more damage to the overall body. The difference between the two is obviously the highest explosion delay, coming in at 5 seconds on the M67 here. And the reason that the F1 grenade has the highest amount of damage every grenade, it has the most amount of fragments in any grenade in the game currently. So coming in 150 fragments doing 100 damage each, the F1 is the king for damage, coming in at 15,000 total damage per grenade. So besides the obvious fuse time, what is the real difference between the F1 and the VOG 25? Well, obviously there's a weight difference as well. Now you're going to see on the right hand side, we got the F1 at 600 grams, and on the left hand side, the VOG 25, being one of the lightest fragmentation grenades, coming in at 250 grams. Why is this important? Well, weight is important, and when you're carrying a large amount of grenades, let's say 4 to 5 or 6, depending on how risky you like to run, a lot of this extra weight can actually start to add up on your character and can make running more exhausting. And it also affects the throw distance. So firstly, you actually throw grenades faster if you don't have any weapon equipped. So we're going to go ahead and toss the RR on the ground. All right, the first thing you guys need to know is that when you hot clear your grenade, you can actually have the option to bring it out. Now, not only does your character run faster with the grenade in his hands, but it also gives you an option to either throw it underhand or overhand. So if you were to left click, he was to pull the pin out and go to throw overhand. But if you press the key obviously again, or any sort of other key to switch to another grenade, etc., and then we're going to hit right click and it gives you the option to throw underhand. Now this is an underhand throw of the VOG 17. So based off weight, I'm going to start from the heaviest grenade. I'm going to aim at the same point every single time. So I'm going to bring my screen up till I cannot see the sniper tower in the distance, and then I'm going to go ahead and do an overarm throw. Now for the RGD. Now this is the VOG 17. As you can see, it blows up before it even hits the ground. Now for the VOG 25, the shortest fuse grenade that I have. And last but not least, the M67. So the first explosion you're going to see here is the F1, and you can see that we made it about, I would roughly say about 20 meters here. And then just in front of it is the RGD. Now you're not actually going to see a signature for both the VOG 17 and the VOG 25, but you can see shrapnel scattered all around the ground here. That's because both of them air bursted because of their incredibly short fuse timer. So ideally you'd be using those grenades in CQB. We're going to go ahead to the back here and we're going to have a look at the M67, and you're going to notice that there's going to be a much larger distance on the M67, and this is with my current skills being not even level 1 strength. And if we're going to go down to my throwables are currently at level 4. So you probably figured it out already, throwing grenades is the best way to level your throwable skill, but it actually is the most efficient way to level your strength. So with the FP100 filter in my stash, or the air filter, gaining an additional plus 40%, I can actually gain 0.25 points of strength every throw for the first 7 throws. Now this has the point of diminishing return. Unfortunately, there's a thing called in-raid exhaustion. So this is skill exhaustion if you are doing something too much and leveling too much. And basically what happens is, for the first 7 grenades you gain 0.25 points, but then you gain 0.125, and it gets worse the more you throw. So the throwables is the exact same thing, coming in at 0.2 for the first 7 grenades, and then the point of diminishing return comes to 0.125 and then lower. But these two go hand in hand, because strength actually gives you an additional 0.5% throw distance every level gained. So by the time you hit strength 51 or elite, you're actually going to gain 25% extra throw distance. But that's not all. As we work our way down to throwables, it does the exact same thing. So throwables every single level is actually going to give you 1% less stamina per throw. So once you get to 51, obviously you're not actually going to lose stamina at all. So when you get the elite perk, it also doesn't actually affect your accuracy when your character's out of breath really heavily and trying to throw a grenade. On top of that, you actually gain 0.5% extra distance every level of throwables. So, giving you a whopping 50% extra distance. You can imagine if you had max throwables and max strength, the distance you could throw an M67 grenade. So what is the most efficient way to level strength? The answer is 7 grenades a raid. The best way to do this is go in, throw your 7 grenades and play your raid out. Normally, if you need to throw more, you'll still gain the standard amount. If you wait 5 minutes, it'll go from negative back to not a positive gain of 129%, but it'll go back to a 0% gain. And then obviously if you throw more than the initial 7, it'll go to negative 64% gain. Like I said, diminishing returns. So if you have this is the best way to level strength. And once again, the most efficient grenades to throw are flashbangs. However, if you go to your workbench, you can actually craft a few grenades along the way. Obviously, there's a few trades here, like this one, the OFZ, for the RGD grenade. You get 5 of these every hour and 28 minutes. And there's a few other trades in here, like the Zara flashbangs, which are really efficient way to do it. So truth of the matter is, every grenade is good in a special way. In every sort of situation, it depends on how you use it. An example, if someone was on the other side of this wall, I could kill them with an M67 grenade, an F1, or every grenade in the game, and it's all about how you use it. The VOG 25, I would probably use a right click, and then I would go higher up and then have it come down and explode right on. But if I was to switch over to another grenade, let's say I was to use the M67, if I was to do a right hand throw, it would land on the ground and then give them plenty of time to escape. So another example would be, I would probably use a left hand click instead of the right, and I'd throw it up nice and high and give it time for it to come down. So in conclusion, it's up to you what grenade you use, but obviously choose the grenade right for the map. An example would be like the VOG 25, the VOG 17, or the F1 grenade are perfect for maps like labs and factory, whereas some other maps they may let you down if you need to throw them long distances. For long distances, I'd recommend the M67 or the RGD, and remember, if you hotkey it, and then left click, you can actually throw the grenade further than pressing G. Hey guys, that's it for this video. If this helped you decide what grenade is best for you, or if you learned anything along the way, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out heaps. And as always, I stream 6 days a week on Twitch. The link for that will be in the description down below. And thank you so much for watching.